becomes really key.
What question? Oh yeah, Krista.
I had another comment.
Yeah.
It was nice to have, because I think the difference for me with the first exercise is I didn't have a choice per se, and so that felt weird.
My name's Emily Raleigh. I am an associate professor of theater at Central Washington University. I also work as a freelance director and intimacy director, intimacy choreographer, depending on which term you want to use. Intimacy direction is something people have been doing for a long time, but has more recently gained a more recognized title or terminology. But really what we do as intimacy professionals, intimacy directors, is we help stage and support storytelling around moments of intimacy. And intimacy could be considered a variety of things. The moment that we started to work intimacy specifically was that 2009 probably, on a performance and rehearsal process for David Auburn's Proof. And there's a romantic relationship that develops there. And I remember the actors at one point in rehearsal looking at me and saying, what do we do? Sometimes in professional settings, the director will simply say, well, just do it. But what does it look like? Because the stage directions simply say they kiss, and they were like, but where do our hands go? How do our heads work? So we closed the rehearsal space, so it was the stage manager, me, and the actors, and we figured it out. So it started to emerge that way, and then I really think that a piece of the conversational puzzle in terms of pop culture and the social world around us is in that moment of the renewed resurgence of Me Too, particularly within theater and film. There's been people trying to have these conversations. I think what a lot of the media coverage of Me Too and other movements has garnered is it's offered us opportunities to think about it publicly. I think what intimacy direction has done in response to that is it's essentially the industry saying no more. We have heard horror stories, right? We have heard horror stories about people whose boundaries have been crossed in many different ways. There has been, in the industries, performance, theater, film, a sense of the ideal actor is someone who will do anything for the role, which can be dangerous when we're thinking about, especially for actors, their instrument is their body. And so helping them find ways to honor their instrument, work within the ways they know their instrument works, and then finding ways to tell the story. So I think intimacy direction is important because it allows us to honor actors' boundaries. If you don't have the tools to support your actors in staging an intimate moment, bring in a specialist. Changes, right? I like to also say consent is conditional, contextual, and revocable or dynamic, right? So I might have a different set of boundaries with Malik, because we've worked together before, than Sam over here, who I've never worked with in my life. So there's different conditions for that. There's also different context. I might have had a really bad day that I try to sort of leave behind, but it also comes with me in space, right? So sometimes my consent changes a little bit. Maybe not useful, and you might not be ready for that, right? So button is a breath, and a moment for us to have a dialogue. Absolutely, you never have to justify it. We might do some really bizarre things in the rehearsal space. You can always tell me no, but we're gonna do these bizarre things in the rehearsal space. This is your first show. You are your fabulous creative instruments. So knowing how to advocate for yourself, how to have these conversations is super useful, because it means we can work in the ways that work for you and be more collaborative without saying that scary word, which is often hard, which is no.
Theater intimacy, like choreography, is so important. You teach actors from a young age, like, make big, bold choices. That's so important, right? And the other part of that is the director doesn't want to always have to tell you what to do. They want you to be inspired, right? Follow your impulses, do something, like do it, and then we can coach that moment. Yes to both of those things. Artists should be making big, bold choices. Artists should be following their impulses, but now with theater intimacy involved, it's that step to go, there are some things that I need to talk about in order to make sure that my partner feels safe. I have been an actor where I have been in the middle of a showcase either for a grade or for an audience or both, where all of a sudden a partner's hand will creep up to be closer towards the front of my chest than any time that we had rehearsed it. And in that moment, you just have to sit there as the artist, the actor, and you go, okay, there's an audience. I'm getting graded. I don't want to stop the show. Is my partner just in the moment? Horrible excuse. But you have those thoughts in your head that you go through, and it becomes this fear-based, I have no agency over this moment. I am uncomfortable, but what do I do? Artists are constantly told there's so many of you out there that I could easily replace you. So those are feelings I know that I felt in the moment from those experiences. And those are feelings I don't want anybody to have ever. And so I think those are really important things to look at as an artist when you're taking a look at intimacy.
In the scenes that we staged for Eurydice, it happens early in the play, and the characters are described as young and in love. And so the context of the scene is that they're young, they're playful, and there's a little bit of awkwardness. You want to be A? Cool. So what, Marcus, you're going to do is you are going to show Madison using long sweeping strokes from the topmost part of your body all the way down where you are okay with Madison making contact with you today. Yeah, and if there's spots you can't reach, just point. Perfect. Yes. Let's flip this time though, so Madison has an opportunity too. So that particular scene for Eurydice, the first step of the process is for me to take a look at it and think about what are the given circumstances of the scene. Where are they? Who are these characters? What's their relationship? Where is it in the scope of the story? And then the second step that we did in the rehearsal space was to talk with the actors about what do you think this kiss looks like? Because they're the experts in the characters, and so they can bring that character knowledge into the storytelling to think about how does this kiss inform the character development in this particular moment. This is an awesome moment of what we call a placeholder. So they actually put their palms together to demonstrate what the kiss looks like before they put faces, so we can kind of fine tune that. So in conversation with the actors, talking about their youthfulness, the playfulness, the sweetness of the moment is what's conveying relationship, whereas another kiss in another moment might look different.
And scene. Now. It's mine already? Wow.
There are a million ways we could have choreographed that scene, or any scene. I will come in with usually between 5 and 10 ideas of what this moment might look like, and reassuring the actors that the intimacy can look different depending on the boundaries and the needs of the story. I think what's exciting about this field and about this work is that it is so much about inviting voices to the table. So to really think about what intimacy direction has offered, I think it offers us an opportunity to be better. And better is better.